Show me what you got.
How's it going, guys and geeks? Welcome back to the Geek Critique Show. My name is Dakota, and today we're going to be going over the Avengers Infinity War trailer that we got yesterday. We know that you've probably already seen 10, 11, 20, 100 of these breakdowns already, but I have found some things that I don't think anyone else has mentioned. Some things that are potentially very spoilery and kind of give a order to the events of the film and what each of the main characters are potentially going to be doing. So I do want to stress that these are potential spoilers, not entirely confirmed, but we will also be matching what we see in this trailer to the leaked footage of the Comic-Con, the leaked Comic-Con footage rather, and as well as some leaked description and title names for some of the upcoming Lego sets. And that news is via one of our geek contributors over at Discord, Brickstash, or Riley Jackson. He's done a lot for us as far as like coming up with this information. This particularly comes from a Russian website called Exoforce, where they actually detail 6 of the different sets that we will be receiving down the line when Avengers Infinity War comes out in terms of the Lego set and stuff. So we're going to be matching all that together. So please, spoilers, you have been warned. Alright, so we're going to start the trailer off. So we see this planet. It's not Earth. I don't think it is anyway, because we see 1, 2 stars. This is a binary planet. There's this shot of Tony Stark. It looks like in the background of some of that planet that we'll be seeing later, but what he's wearing is not very Iron Man-like, so this is probably on Earth. Interestingly, I thought that he was caressing someone's hand, but it just looks like he has one dirty hand, because it's the same sleeve on both hands. But obviously something terrible has happened. You can hear Nick Fury's voiceover from the original Avengers film talking about the Avengers Initiative.
To bring together.
Then we have voiceovers from different cast members. Let's just play that out really quick. So that's Tony Stark.
Remarkable people. To see if we could become
Vision.
something more. So when they needed us,
Thor.
we could fight the battles
that they never could.
And Black Widow. Alright, so let's go back to this shot here. We have Bruce Banner in the Sanctum Sanctorum, looking like he just literally fell out of the sky. Now, this is a very curious shot because we know from several different movies that when Hulk falls from a great height or just gets knocked out, he just turns back into Bruce Banner. So it looks like that's exactly what happened because of the sheer width of this crash and the damage. You can tell the stuff around him has been kind of bent in a shape that is definitive of Hulk's size. Now, why he just crash landed here in the Sanctum Sanctorum, it looks like Wong and Doctor Strange are very confused about that. And last we saw him was in Ragnarok. I'm a little confused myself because that would be a very strange way to enter Earth's atmosphere and go exactly to that spot from a distant point in space. It's the chances of that are astronomical. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Good to see Wong back, though. Now, this is an interesting scene with Wanda and Vision. It looks like they have finally created a life together. Vision looks to be far more human than we have ever seen him. It looks as though he still has the mind gem embedded in him. Some people have said that could be an imprint or a hole in his face, but likely that isn't. That looks to me like it's still there. Now, is this a vision that Wanda is giving to him? Is this him being able to now take a more human form? We don't know yet.
so when they needed us.
Now, this looks like the Guardians ship that we see Thor on at the end of this trailer. This was also teased in the Comic-Con footage and the D23 footage, which is actually the same footage, but we'll get more into that later. But looks like he's probably going over or looking at the destruction of Asgard, or not the actual realm of Asgard, but the ship and perhaps the people on the ship.
Us. We could fight the battles.
All right, so we have Bruce Banner in what appears to be Wakanda. We see the Hulkbuster suit, or at least the glove here, and I have a theory that Tony won't actually be wearing the Hulkbuster suit, but Bruce Banner will. And I know that seems a little dumb, because, he could just Hulk out. But as we've seen, it's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde sort of thing, where once he turns into the Hulk, he no longer has any control. He can't turn back, because Hulk wants to be in control. But when Bruce Banner is in control, Bruce Banner wants to be in control. I have a theory that Tony Stark is going to let him use the Hulkbuster suit so as not to incur the wrath of the Hulk. So we have here Black Widow with her new blonde hair. I don't mind it. This is a lot of wasted screen time on... Hey, there's Ant-Man. Everyone was wondering where Ant-Man was. Found him. Okay, so over here in the center of the picture we have what used to be Stark Tower, where it used to be Avengers Tower. It looks like you can probably still make out that A, and there is an A on both sides of this building, as we've seen on the Homecoming posters. So it's a possibility that the A is still there. Alright, Sanctum Sanctorum. Looks like Tony has that cell phone that Captain America gave him at the end of Civil War. You can call me whenever you need to. Looks like his arc reactor is back in his chest. Maybe he was in a bad shape. He needed to put that back on. And this is where we're going to talk about our first Lego set, entitled The Battle in the Sanctum Sanctorum. And this set will include Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Cole Obsidian, and Ebony Maw, and will also feature the Time Stone. This set takes place in the Sanctum Sanctorum and Peter Parker's bedroom, apparently, probably connected via some sort of portal. Now, we have the Time Stone, which is already in the Eye of Agamotto, and we'll be seeing more of Ebony Maw in this trailer, as we'll go through. It's probably them that, or Cole Obsidian and Ebony Maw, that the Avengers are now looking at. Look at the shocked face here. Oh, you see people running in the background on the street here. So that's probably what's happening. This is a great scene. You see Tony Stark's hair raise. Oh, so good. Now I wonder how long this ship has been in the sky. Did that just happen at the same time as when Tony and them were looking outside at what was going on outside and people were running around? Is this a portal from Thanos to the world? Is that how the Hulk got there in the first place, through that portal? I guess we will have to find out. Okay, this is interesting. It looks like the Time Stone is actually being used in this scene. Look at everyone in the background. They seem to be completely still while Tony is moving. Alright, so a lot of people I have seen assuming that this is Loki. It may be, but I'm going to pull up an image, and it kind of looks like Ebony Maw's boots here, as you can see. He's stepping over people that look like they are in the Sanctum Sanctorum. Now this also could be on the Asgard ship that Thor was on. And this may be why Loki is now handing over the Tesseract, because he had it. It's probably more likely that this was on the Asgardian ship. The Tesseract, we know, has the Space Stone inside it. And we'll see in a little bit how and where Thanos actually gets that stone to put on his gauntlet. And here we actually have Thanos in all his glory. I'm not a fan of Thanos without his helmet. I gotta say, it looks like a big potato. Like a big potato. And it looks so much like Josh Brolin, just with like tiny eyes. But the CG looks good. Hope it gets a little bit better for the actual film, but I don't mind it. What I do mind, however, and I know a lot of people were pretty pissed about my not having liked the Iron Spider suit. I didn't like it when they introduced it in Homecoming. I didn't like it when it was introduced in the comics. It always reminded me of Tony Stark and less of Spider-Man. And obviously, yes, Tony Stark made it, but he also made his other suit. I just feel the other suit is just timeless. This reminds me of the old Batman movies. When they would come out, there would be a strew of toys that came out that kind of sort of tied in with Batman, but not really. There would be like an ice suit Batman. There would be like a underwater scuba diving Batman. That was never in the film, and it feels like this is just another ploy to sell toys to me, but to each their own, I guess. I don't mind that they have this in the film. I kind of wish we would have seen it in person in the film first. I wish Tony Stark, or I wish Peter Parker would, at the end of the film, just kind of like run to wherever that was being kept and used it then. I think that would be a better reveal. Now this is really interesting, and this actually ties in with one of the Lego sets, I believe. Everyone I see seems to think that this is some sort of contraption of Thanos, but I don't think so. I think this is actually Thor forging his next weapon, either Stormbreaker, which is traditionally held by Beta Ray Bill, or Yarnbjorn, his axe. Although in the comics he had his axe before he had Mjolnir. Or maybe he's just making another Mjolnir. But the reason I say this ties in with the Lego set is there is a Lego set called The Search for Thor's Weapon, which features Thor, Groot, Rocket, Raccoon. And this set features an unknown Infinity Stone, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is the Ether, the Reality Stone. And this set takes place on the planet of Nithavalir, which is where the dwarves live. It's one of the realms where the dwarves live. Comic book fans probably call it Nidavellir or Nidavellir. Actual Norse would pronounce it Nithavalir. Pretty sure that's what's happening. This is the closest shot we get of any of Thanos' people, Thanos' Black Order. This is Proxima Midnight throwing her javelin or spear at what will definitely be Captain America. Yep, that's definitely Cap catching it. You can tell by the bricks in the background, and we'll get more on that later. What's really cool is I love this little speech by Black Panther. T'Challa's probably telling Shuri to make Captain America a shield because it looks like they are in Wakanda, and he probably doesn't have his shield there in Wakanda. And yes, Captain America steps out of the shadow. He's the one who caught Proxima Midnight's spear. Notice that he has taken away all markings of his character of Captain America. He's no longer affiliated with that country. Okay, so here we get a smile from Wanda, but kind of like a, oh, okay, we're good. You didn't die from the spear throw. Now, this is the Hulkbuster costume again, the Hulkbuster suit. Now, notice it doesn't look like whoever's inside it knows how to use it. It looks kind of like it's a weird landing. So I don't think this is Tony Stark. Again, I think this is Bruce Banner. This is in Wakanda. Now, let's go to another one of the sets, the Hulkbuster fight. We don't know exactly where the set takes place, but we see here that this is Wakanda, so likely this is where that will take place. It does feature the Soul Stone here. Hulk, Falcon, the Hulkbuster armor, and Proxima Midnight are all in this scene. My theory is that Banner will get destroyed in this suit, and then Hulk will Hulk out, and that'll be fun. That'll be a fun time. Interestingly, the set does describe that the Soul Stone is there in Wakanda. We don't know who she is stabbing. We don't know who he's looking at. But we see these skyscraper things. They're probably shuttles for the Outriders, which we'll see in a little bit, Thanos' army, which Cap is now fighting. They are 6-limbed individuals that was detailed in another set called Attack of the Riders, which features Captain America, Black Widow, and a six-armed enemy, which we know are the Outriders. This Space Stone is also in this scene, and this also takes place in Wakanda. So I think this happens in two different parts of the movie. Now, we already mentioned that the Tesseract is where the Space Stone is located. So why the Space Stone is somehow on Wakanda at this point in the film, we don't know yet. These sets may not be entirely accurate, but so far, and these sets were described a few days before this trailer dropped, so likely there is some validity to them. Okay, here we see Thanos just decking Spider-Man. And if you've seen the Infinity War leaked footage from Comic-Con, we know that there is a scene where he is kind of saying, "I'm sorry, Tony," I'm sorry, Mr. Stark, I'm sorry. And this definitely takes place in the same location, whichever planet this is. Now, Tony looks like he is very distraught. This may be because he's culpable for bringing Spider-Man into the fray. All right, here's an interesting shot. We see the Mind Stone being, looks like it's being extricated from Vision's head, and the foot, as we can see from that promo image we showed earlier, is of Corvus Glaive, and that's also his staff, it looks like. So that's probably that scene. Now, that is also featured in one of the Lego sets called Corvus Glaive Attacks. It features Black Panther, Shuri, Vision, and Corvus Glaive. This also takes place in Wakanda. So there's a lot of Wakanda in this film. The Mind Stone. We see that the Mind Stone is right there. Let's continue. That looks very painful. Alright, so here's a great shot of Thanos just plopping that stone right into its place. I wonder if it knows exactly where it's supposed to be located on the gauntlet. But if what that Lego set that we just mentioned, the Attack of Riders set, is at all accurate, or even partially accurate, the Space Stone is located there, and that is where Thanos gets it. Unless the six-armed army of Outriders somehow takes the stone to him and takes it to another planet wherever he's located. Now this is a great scene. I wonder if he's walking up to Iron Man, or if he is literally growing, but you see the shadow just encompassing him. Oh, and also it's important to note that he already has the Power Stone embedded in his gauntlet. Now, I have a feeling that the Power Stone will be taken in the first 5 minutes of the film. That's probably why the Guardians were going out into that area of space and they found Thor in the first place. Last we saw of Thor, he was on that Asgard ship, and the end credits scene showed one of Thanos' ships coming and likely destroying all of the remnant of Asgard. That may be why none of these Lego sets actually discuss a fight to retrieve the Power Gem. I keep saying gem, but it's the Power Stone, and last we saw of that was on Xandar. So likely that's the first thing that he gets. The Space Stone being the second one, obviously. And there's that smirk. More of a smirk than a smile, but alright, take it. Tony takes it. This is a great shot. You see the armies of Wakanda, as well as you see Cap in the back, as well as Bucky. Falcon just mowing people down. You see here the Hulkbuster suit right there. Now, these are the Outriders, and that would be the Wakandan army. Now, right here, I believe that is Captain America, and I believe that is Black Widow. Now, you can't see it too well on this shot, but it looks like there is some gold lining in his arm, in Bucky's new arm. Yeah, you see it a little there. So it's not just vibranium, it looks like there's a little bit of gold in there. But we also see Black Panther, we see Falcon up there. War Machine's back on his, well, he's not on his feet, he's flying, so I don't know. And Hulk is out of his suit, out of the Hulkbuster suit. We see Hulk with his eye patch and the Guardians. We see Teenage Groot. We see Mantis, Rocket, Drax in the corner, Peter Quill, and Mantis nonchalantly waving without a smile. Now, there's one set that we have not mentioned. It does not feature any individual Infinity Stones, but it does have the Infinity Gauntlet and the sword, and that is called Thanos: The Last Battle. This features Iron Man, Star-Lord, Gamora, Thanos, who already has the Infinity Gauntlet and a sword, and the set details possibly more characters. This takes place in space with some sort of space-like bike vehicle for Thanos and a spaceship for the Avengers. So this would be the big set that comes out. Now, there are no pictures of these sets, just descriptions as of this point that were translated roughly from Russian. So whether or not these are entirely accurate or even real at all is up for debate, but they seem extremely accurate if you ask me, because we kind of matched up all the scenes already that we saw in this trailer. So now I want to go into, really quickly, the leaked footage from Comic-Con. Alright, so here's the scene with the Guardians. Very poor quality, obviously. But they're flying through the debris. They don't know what's happening, and then Thor just kind of face plants into their ship. Audience freaks out. We have Mantis here waking him up.
Wait.
That's great. Obviously, this footage is a little too poor to really make out much of what is being seen here, but we have the Guardians flying around with Thor.
He's coming to us.
So this is clearly that other planet that they are on that has two suns. Now, this is a great shot. So here we have at least some of what that last battle set included. Iron Man, Star-Lord, Gamora, and Thanos are in this scene, and possibly more characters. Here we see Spider-Man along in that battle. And we saw Spider-Man earlier in the trailer that was just released yesterday being demolished. So this appears to be one of those bikes, perhaps, that Thanos rides in on. Tony, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That appears to be the same part of the film that looks like Thanos choked him out earlier. Here we have Thor getting his head seemingly crushed by a large, meaty purple hand, so that's probably Thanos. I see Nebula briefly right there. Now, this is one scene I wish we had in the trailer. I would have liked to see this in its clarity. But we have Thanos literally pulling what appears to be a planet towards them. So OP. So very OP. Guys, did I miss anything from this trailer breakdown? I tried to be as thorough as physically possible, incorporating both the Comic-Con footage as well as Lego sets that haven't been revealed to the public yet, but we have the descriptions of, so sorry if I spoiled something for you or the possible order of events of the film, but hopefully you found this video enjoyable. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. We thank you so much for watching this. Have a good one.